All right, let's jump into this deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah, it's a book that's definitely made waves. Got people talking about, well, money, how we think about it.
and some pretty bold claims about building wealth. But we're here to break it all down, right? See what clicks.
Definitely unpack those core concepts, see if they hold up under scrutiny.
Right from the get-go, this book throws out this idea. Fear and greed, that's what's driving most of our money decisions.
And we might not even realize it, right?
It's kind of like, they paint this picture. You get a huge pay raise. What's your first thought?
The new car smell.
Haha, maybe. Or that dream house, finally. Or is it, maybe I should invest this.
Makes you think, huh, where do our instincts really lead us?
And then the book goes on to compare that, with how wealthy families approach money.
They kind of instill this idea, investment's a long game. It's about delaying gratification.
Like you wait and then bam, bigger payoff down the line.
Makes you wonder about our own early money lessons.
Did they set us up for long-term thinking? Or were we taught something different?
Yeah, like chase those immediate rewards. Big questions there.
And that ties into, I think, another big point Rich Dad, Poor Dad makes, right? Becoming a millionaire, that's one thing.
But staying a millionaire, now that's the real test.
It's easy to imagine winning the lottery or suddenly having a ton of cash.
Poof, gone. If you don't have the right, the mindset, the habits.
They even give an example how quickly $1 million can disappear if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, suddenly that dream house comes with a massive mortgage, endless repairs, property taxes.
And that fancy car, always in the shop, costing a fortune.
It's like a constant drain. Really emphasizes discipline, even if you're starting small.
Penny pinching, budgeting, they make it sound crucial.
Like no matter where you begin, gotta be careful.
Kind of makes you think, does it clash with, how everything's instant gratification these days?
Good point. Does that frugality message, does it still fit in today's world? Or does it need an update?
Now, one of the most, mind-blowing things this book does, it's how they define assets and liabilities.
Get ready for this. Might flip what you think you know.
Totally. Okay, so it boils down to this. Asset puts money in your pocket, liability takes it out.
Seems simple.
But here's the kicker, and are you ready for this? They say a house is a liability.
Wait, what?
Not an asset.
But it goes up in value, right?
That's what we're always told.
Yeah.
But think about it. You're always paying mortgage, taxes, insurance, fixing things.
So even if it, appreciates over time.
They're saying those expenses, they make it a drain on your finances, at least for a while.
Forces you to think differently about what's truly valuable, right?
Challenges that whole home ownership equals wealth idea.
Big time. So does that resonate with you at all?
It's a wild thought, right? This book really wants you to look at money in a whole new way. And this brings us to another big theme, investing.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad is adamant this isn't just for the super rich, it's for everybody.
Understanding it, that is
They put it simply. Putting money in now, hoping for more later.
like planting a seed, hoping for, an apple tree years down the line.
Yeah. But how does it actually work? The stock market,
That can seem intimidating, right?
Yeah.
But even if you're new to this whole thing, the book explains it pretty clearly.
They start with the basics. Stocks, what they are. When you buy one, you're buying a small piece of that company.
Like becoming part owner, betting on its success.
And then there's capital gains, right? You sell a stock for more than you paid. That's your profit.
Okay, so what about dividends?
Those are like little bonuses companies give to their shareholders.
It's like just for owning that piece of the company, you get rewarded.
And the book points out wealthy families. They often teach their kids about this stuff early on.
Gives them a head start, understanding how it all works.
So does that ring true for you? Your own experience,
That's an interesting point. Makes you think, if you didn't get that early exposure, are you at a disadvantage?
Right. And that leads into their big argument, the whole financial education gap.
How the rich teach their kids about money creates a huge advantage.
And without that knowledge, the book argues, people can get stuck, in debt, making choices that keep them back.
This is where it gets really, really interesting. Rich Dad, Poor Dad doesn't just talk about ideas. It's like a call to action, almost.
Yeah, totally. It's like, become financially literate. Take charge. Don't just earn that paycheck. Make your money do the work, right?
So where do you even begin with investing? This whole stock market thing, I mean.
It can be a bit overwhelming. The book breaks it down, though, starts with what stocks actually are.
Okay, like from the beginning.
Yeah, they represent ownership in a company. So when you buy a stock, you're basically buying a tiny piece of that company.
Like you're saying, I think this company's going to do well, so I'm in.
Exactly. You're betting on their future success. If they do well, your little piece becomes more valuable.
Hmm. So it's not just picking like a company you like. It's more than that.
Right. You got to understand the bigger picture, how the market works. There are all these factors that can affect stock prices.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, how well the company's doing, obviously, but also the overall market trends. Even just investor sentiment, how optimistic people are feeling, that can impact things.
So it's more complex than it seems at first glance.
Oh, yeah, much more. And that's where capital gains come in. That's your profit, basically.
Okay, break it down for me.
You buy a stock at one price, say $50, then it goes up maybe to $75. When you sell it, that $25 difference, that's your capital gain.
Ah, I see. So what if it goes down instead?
Well, that's the risk, right? Any investment has risks. The book acknowledges that. You could lose money if the stock price drops.
So it's not a guaranteed win.
Definitely not. That's why they emphasize research, doing your homework, understand the company, know your own risk tolerance, how much you're comfortable potentially losing.
So it's not just blindly jumping in on the latest hot stock tip, like I hear people talk about.
Haha, no, not at all. It's about making informed choices, using knowledge, not just hype.
Gotcha. Now, what about dividends? We touched on those earlier.
Ah, yes. Dividends. Those are payments companies make to their shareholders.
Like a little thank you for owning their stock.
Exactly. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad highlights how they can become passive income.
Passive income. Okay, now you've got my attention. Explain that.
It means you're making money without actively working for it. You're literally earning while you sleep or, go about your day.
That sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But does the book say, put all your money in one stock that pays dividends?
Oh, no, no, no. That's where diversification comes in. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Classic advice. I've heard that before.
It's about spreading your investments, different types of assets to manage risk.
So if one thing tanks, you're not totally wiped out.
Exactly. Some might be doing well, others not so much. It kind of balances things out.
Diversification, that's the key takeaway there.
It's about finding that balance between potential gains and potential losses. And of course, making sure your investments match your goals and how much risk you're okay with.
So we've covered a lot. Mindset, investing, even questioning the whole home ownership thing. What's the biggest thing that stands out to you from Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
For me, it's that push to take control of your financial future. Don't just go with the flow. Be proactive.
Like, don't be a victim of circumstances. Be in the driver's seat.
Right. They challenge that whole traditional path. School, job, house, then hope for the best. It's like there are other ways. Think outside the box.
Yeah, it's about taking charge, making choices, not just, letting things happen to you.
It's about empowerment, right? And for me, the other big thing that really stuck out was this whole idea of financial education for everyone.
Okay, I like that.
It's not just, oh, if you're born rich, you'll be fine. It's like no matter where you start, understanding how money works, that's crucial.
Levels the playing field almost.
Exactly. And they also talk about, to achieve real success, you got to take risks sometimes.
Get out of that comfort zone.
They're big on the entrepreneurial mindset, seeing opportunities, not just roadblocks.
Like, even if you're not starting a business, think like an entrepreneur, right? With your own finances.
Exactly. It's all about that shift in thinking.
So after this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what are your final thoughts? What really hit home for you?
I think the most powerful thing was how it challenges those traditional money beliefs. That whole script we're often given, go to school, get a job, buy a house, and well, that's it.
Like, that's the only path.
Right. And this book is like, wait a minute, there's so much more.
Think bigger. Right.
Exactly. Explore other options. Take control.
And that emphasis on financial education, that was big for me too. Like, it's not just about being rich. It's about understanding how to manage your money, whatever you have.
It's about making smart choices no matter your income level.
It's empowering, like you said.
Totally. And it also doesn't sugarcoat things. It acknowledges sometimes you got to take risks, step outside your comfort zone.
That's where the growth happens, right?
Exactly. And the book encourages that. Embrace the entrepreneurial spirit. See possibilities, not just problems.
I mean, whether you agree with everything they say or not, Rich Dad, Poor Dad definitely gets you thinking.
It does. It makes you question things and ultimately take a more active role in your financial life.
So, for our listener, what's the one action they could take today based on all this? What would you recommend?
I'd say just start somewhere. Pick one thing that resonated with you from the book and take a small step. Could be making a budget, tracking expenses, or even just reading more about investing.
It's about taking that first step, right?
Exactly. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about consistency, those small actions that add up over time.
Like investing itself, small contributions, but big results in the long run.
Exactly. Remember, financial freedom, it's a journey, not a destination.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We've covered a lot of ground, the core ideas, those controversial
And
claims
hopefully we've given everyone some food for thought.
about their own relationship with money, how they think about it, what they want to do.
Whether you're just starting out or you're already, an investing pro, hopefully this was helpful.
It's not just about how much you earn, but how you manage what you have, right?
Exactly. Keep learning, keep exploring, and, keep taking those steps toward your goals.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, happy investing.
See you on the next one.